Hey guys, how y'all doing? This is OV Transport Guy coming to you with an interesting title this particular time. And this is something that I want you guys to think about doing or at least considering. Two indeed is better than one. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when you're in as a business entrepreneur, there's a few things that you definitely want to be able to be able to do it, even if you hadn't started doing it. Just kind of consider this for a minute. So, what do I mean by two? Well, two truly is better than one. Uh, there's a reason why the Bible mentions two is better than one in terms of having a friend, a husband, and a wife. You know, these type of things. But just as important, one thing that I definitely start doing, on my path of being an entrepreneur. For example, it's like having two phones. Now, why is that important? Well, in terms of communication, and I actually have two phones that have two separate lines. In the case that somebody needs to reach me by one phone or have the number for another. One I use for personal, to where only certain people have that, and the other one I use for business to where people can call me on that one. Or in this case, let's just say maps. So I have an Android and I have an iPhone. Yeah, and I know the rating. Apple phones suck or Android suck. The camera's not good. Man, crashes. It technically, both of them have done either the crash part. Both of them have their maps and all that stuff. To each is his own. One has more apps than the other. Although I don't know how true that is now. But once upon a time, that might have been the case. Okay, so we have that. But like for Apple, for example, it has its own map besides Google Map. You know what I'm saying? And even with Android, it has Google Map plus another type of map. You know what I'm saying? So, and I've been in situations where traveling, one of my maps wasn't precise where I needed to be, so I may switch over to another map to find a direction or something. Or camera wise, to me, and this is just my honest opinion, and I'm probably gonna get scolded for this, but I think Apple phones have a better camera uh, than than uh, than Androids. Yeah, I know Androids have real good devices and stuff, but I just think personally, Apple has a better phone. Uh, Apple, can sync better with its Mac computers than say Android can. Things like that. But at the same time, Android, in my opinion, has better business-wise things. I can put more apps into it, stuff like that. That's more of my business section. And so that's just phones. And of course, we all have our preference, right? But as a business entrepreneur, you want to have two phones for two modes of communications and uses. What one won't have, the other won't have. It's called basically having a backup plan. You know what I'm saying? In case one phone doesn't work, the other one is. And two, you have apps. One may be iPhone apps, one may be Android. You'll find that the apps you can download from each phone now. So what if one crashes on one site? Well, you might have the app on the other side. You know what I'm saying? So these things are absolutely important to have. And that's just the phone. Let's move a step further. I have 2 or 3 bank accounts. Okay, I use Chase and I use Wells Fargo. You know what I'm saying? For example, what happens if one bank crashes, or God forbid, one gets hacked, or it's temporary shut down because they got to do maintenance? What if I need to transfer funds, deposit, all these things. So, or there's one has things that I can do while the other one I can't do. A backup plan in case one, for whatever reason, there's a compromise with it, or I need to transfer funds. Whatever the case is, having 2 banks, and it solidifies you as a entrepreneur. So, in my case, 2 banks and one, and of course, I also still have a business account too, on top of a personal account, and then just having another one. So, again, that solidifies me as a business owner, and I have a backup plan. Now, this is key and important. So you have 2 in that area. Okay, and here's the biggest thing too: husband and wife. I think besides relationships, besides intimacy, personality, things of that nature, you want your wife, your spouse, to line up with you business wise, to have to be able to get you on focus, to build you up, not tear you down, for you to complement each other. You know, uh, you need a helping hand. You need somebody that's accountable. It don't get no better than a wife. So in terms of business, she has or he has ideas that can better help your business, or food for thought, right? So again, two is better than one. Think about this. This is something that God put in place. He said, even in Genesis, uh, that it's not good for man to be alone, right? So he needed a helper. You know what I'm saying? He needed somebody that can steer him, that can guide him, that can help him, that can nourish him, and then vice versa. That man that can be that security, that can be that accountability, that can be your strength. So both of them go hand in hand in a proper position and roles that they're in. You know what I'm saying? And this is absolutely great for business. So in Grace Travel and More, it's not just me, it's me and my wife. You know what I'm saying? Because she uh, uh, gave me the ideas, helped me build it, gave me suggestions, ideas. So again, backup plan, but not just backup plan, but a partner and a strengthening one at the same time that can help nourish that. So you see how that kind of works? All right, so that's absolutely perfect. Okay, and here's another thing too to consider: two vehicles. Now, some of you might think, well, I only have one. Well, this is why, hey, work towards that goal. Why? Because what if a car breaks down? What if you got to take it in for maintenance? What if you get in an accident? Uh, even and a good thing about having your wife, if you don't have two cars under your own name, whatever the case is, you have your spouse that will let you use their car, because you're using it for the particular business. You know what I'm saying? So in case one car for whatever reason goes down, you have this other one. You know what I'm saying? Uh, or if you're in an entrepreneurial business, let's just say you got a client that you can't get, right? Well, if she's in your business, she or he, whichever the case is, your spouse can help you. And I emphasize this her a lot because obviously I'm thinking about myself as far as my wife, how much part that she's in this so much and heavy at that with it. So, but let's just say spouse, they can assist you in those areas too by having a separate vehicle. You know what I'm saying? In terms of business, be able to get to places where you might not be able to, right? So you may be across town. Your spouse may be able to help you to another appointment, whatever the case is. These are absolutely crucial points. Uh, with me, I love reading scripture, and I use two different versions on two different phones. I may have a translation in one and a translation in another on two separate phones. You know what I'm saying? Two accounts, or three or four. I use YouTube, I use Facebook, I use Twitter, I use TikTok. You know what I'm saying? So you guys can kind of follow along, you know, that having being able not being one dimension, if that makes sense, and having multiple of avenues is absolutely key, and there's nothing wrong with it. Having a multiplicity of ideas, valid ideas. So the point is this: if you're finding yourself struggle, uh, is in this case you want to be able to multiply. You want to be able to have backup plans, and I know that this will aid you in what you do. I can't tell you that if I didn't have, like two separate phones, or have my spouse, or have double the vehicle, or double the account, bank account, whatever the case is, or platforms being, YouTube, TikTok, things like that. I wouldn't be able to do what I do because that gets me out there, the platforms, more times than just one. The vehicles, if one breaks down, the bank, if I need to transfer funds or whatever the case is that I'm doing, the phones in terms of communication, GPS, apps, things like that. And these are just a few things that you want to have uh, to be able to multiply and diversify your business. You know what I'm saying? And then of course the biggest thing too is in definitely your business. It is absolutely okay to be able to do more than one particular type of business or contracts. You definitely want to have another source of income. And given the modern times that we're in, that is absolutely a great time, great thing to do. Whether you're working for somebody or you're doing your own business, have something else on the side. Something like an investment, whatever the case is, have another contract, another passive income. Whether you're working at home or on site somewhere, it's good to have other options. Now, again, your spouse obviously has something else going on too, which is absolutely great. But you as an individual, think about having a plan on being able to have another source of income besides maybe your business. And there's plenty of options to choose from. What I'm saying? Take advantage of that to be able to do that, because if you want to grow faster, if you want to, be able to do more, it's okay to have, not to be one dimension, but to have multiple ideas. You know what I'm saying? And be sure that they're practical and you can put them in place. So being practical with multiplying your business is absolutely key. And I think if you're able to think outside the box, and that's another thing too, being able to do more than one, having more than one, automatically puts you out the box of the norm. You don't want to be the norm. You want to be a person that thinks more. So if you're thinking more, you're thinking in double digits of the numbers. And again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? And then my final thing is business and ministry. Absolutely key to have. Because on one side, I'm dealing with business, which means I'm dealing with normal people besides believers as well. So I'm dealing with two separate peoples, as it were, right? And so being able to understand the business side and understanding the morality side. So in other words, for my business to thrive, I need to be sure I put my talents in place, I put my creation, in place, and I realize more importantly where all these major things come from. So God has given us the ability to be able to think about things, to plan things, to use our gifts and talents, whatever areas that we are in, to be able to do. So both ministry, being able to talk to people, being able to reach people, being able to encourage people, being able to strengthen people and present the gospel, obviously, right, which is indwelt into my business. So now my business is not just moral, and it's ethical, and I'm not just thinking about myself. I'm truly wanting to be able to serve people. So I have both the I guess you would say the physical and the spiritual side of things, as it were. You know what I'm saying? And I believe these are things that help you lead the way you need to lead. You know what I'm saying? So again, guys, just think about this. I always have two. Two is better than one. And always having a backup plan, because that is absolutely key. If you are in a business or working a contract, you're going to have some tough times building it from the ground up, or just as you're navigating through your business, you're going to have challenges. So my deal is this: if you're going to have challenges, always have a backup plan, and always have two or more, because you'd be surprised how multiplying, diversifying your business, your assets, your creation, your talents, having more than one talent. And everybody has more than one talent. So again, this is all about multiplying. Two is better than one. If I leave you, let me leave you with that. So you guys go out there, kick butt, take names, do what you do. OV Transport Guy, signing off. I'll talk to you guys later. And by the way, if you guys like my video, would you do me a favor and subscribe, like, and subscribe to me? I certainly would appreciate it. That way I can reach more people and give them the same message as I'm giving you. So if you like what I'm offering, what I'm serving to you guys, subscribe and share. Other than that, I will talk to you later. Peace out. Much love. Bye for now.